The honourable member for Mount Royal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are all, wherever we are, deeply saddened, profoundly pained at the passing of a great world historical figure, Nelson Mandela, a person who endured 27 years in a South African prison and emerged to not only preside over the dismantling of apartheid, but in fact to make possible, as president, the establishment of a democratic, multiracial, free South Africa. And, Mr. Speaker, it was a little over 13 years ago, precisely on June 12, 2001, that we gathered here also in this House on a motion unanimously adopted to make Nelson Mandela an honorary citizen of Canada. And as we said at the time, that this conferral of honorary citizenship will have enduring resonance, not only for Canada, but internationally. And let me just summarize those considerations which inspired that honorary citizenship and which today really amount to a great testament to his everlasting humanitarian legacy that he bequeathed to each one of us wherever we are. The first was that Nelson Mandela was really a metaphor, the metaphor and message for the struggle for human rights and human dignity in our time. If apartheid was the ultimate assault on human rights and human dignity, if South Africa was the first post-World War II country to have institutionalized racism as a matter of law, we should not forget, Mr. Speaker, apartheid was not just a racist philosophy. It was a racist legal regime. And it was Mandela who fought and gave full expression to that struggle for human rights and human dignity against this racist legal regime. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, Mandela was the embodiment of the three great struggles of the 20th century. The long march towards freedom, as he put it, the march for democracy, and the march for equality. Third, Mr. Speaker, Mandela was a role model for nation building, a role model for nation building wherever we are. He was the one who inspired the notion of establishing a rainbow coalition, of taking diverse peoples, even antagonistic peoples, adversary races and identities, and welding them into a united rainbow coalition for nation building. As one who served as a member of his international legal team, I was privileged to hear the testimonies of those who had worked with him throughout the years in prison and afterwards, and who said of him the incredible testimony that Mandela was a person without rancor, without any sense of revenge, without any anger at all, a person without any malice, a person, yes, of resilience, yes, of determination, of commitment, but a person open and therefore capable of welding together those diverse peoples into one nation. And finally, Mr. Speaker, he was most of all a metaphor for hope particularly for the young, in his speaking of the importance also of education as a linchpin of the future. And I may just close by saying one thing, Mr. Speaker, that may his memory serve always as an inspiration for all of us wherever we are, and may that memory serve as a blessing for this House and everyone in this universe. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Bravo.